Alright boys, we are back with game number 2, Roccat versus virtus.pro. We have Cursed Hollow as our next map, and of course right now we are seeing virtus.pro in the lead. Roccat, they just lost on the last map. virtus.pro played really well, and especially after they hit level 13 they were able to come into this, back into the game. We have Jaina now banned out by Roccat. Interesting ban considering that on the last map they neither banned nor took Jaina, but of course they want to deny these horrible Jaina comps to virtus.pro, like these amazing ones where we have Jaina with the Tyrande, Jaina with the Sonya, even an Abathur Jaina can be extremely strong of course here, and Abathur is one of the preferred picks on the European server on Cursed Hollow, at least when we're talking about the competitive play. Abathur is therefore also banned out, and Roccat now they have the opportunity to go into a variety of first picks. They could go into a Sonya, which is becoming more and more popular here, but they chose to go into Kel'Thas instead. Now Kel'Thas is of course extremely powerful, especially when Jaina is already banned out. They could have also taken a Tyrande first, which is also very, very popular. That's something that virtus.pro might actually try and do right now. Take the Tyrande, also use a Muradin maybe to get that stun lock together, but Sonya is another hero that is oftentimes taken early on in the draft right now. After the last patch, when we had like the competitive scene going into these big tournaments again, Sonya was one of these like mid-draft heroes, and at this point she's just moving farther and farther forward in the ranking. But yeah, Sonya and Tyrande would be solid picks, but there's of course other combinations that you can go for as well. An early Tassadar can really help you on Cursed Hollow too. Tyrande has the option of going into a bit of an owl build to really interrupt these channels on the tributes. So there's a lot of different ways how you can right now just like shape your lineup to get ahead of your opponent. And it's really difficult to really tell what you can do here. So all of these things I just mentioned are possible openings for virtus.pro. They could also decide to like play something completely different. We've seen Roccat open up earlier with a Sonya plus an ETC, trying to just like get these frontliners in. Then again, they were planning from the get-go to head straight into a very tank-heavy setup. On the North American server, we would have most likely seen Uther already taken, since he's a very popular pick there. But in this case, it is one of the combinations that I've been talking about. Sonya and Tassadar compared to the potential of Sonya and Tyrande. So Tassadar here is going to try and fulfill a very similar role when it comes to just like protection. He's going for the shields, probably this time going to be played very differently than in the last game. I assume Leeching Plasma and Kala's Embrace are going to be the talents on level 4 and level 7, so that Sonya gets some additional support. Some of the players will still drop the level 4 talent even with the Sonya, but most of them will try to get her the extra life leech. For Roccat, it's a different story though. They have to think about Tyrande now. Either they have to take her or they have to ban her out. They will not allow Sonya and Tyrande to be on the same team, and they take Tyrande themselves. Now that leads them into the need for additional stuns. They need some kind of like pre-stun so that Tyrande can really unfold that burst power. A Muradin is a good choice. You can combo that with an ETC. We have seen Diablo combos. It's a little bit less likely that Diablo is being picked now. If you are trying to go into a Diablo play, it's usually happening towards the later part of the draft, and you try to pick one of those heavily fought over heroes first, which would actually be a potential Muradin. But there's a couple of other heroes that are still very strong that you can take here. And ETC, well, it's one of the heroes that we just mentioned, is pretty solid because you don't only get that power slide stun into Tyrande stun, you on top of this have the threat of the mosh pit, and ETC is super popular again. When you play Tyrande as a solo heal, then Proc Rock on level 1 can help you. There's two ways of how you can play ETC. You can either go into Proc Rock and groupies and try to just like help out with a bit of additional heal to the rest of your team, or you can go into the full power slide talents on level 1 and level 4 and then use him more as a utility tank at the front. So it's just a matter of preference, what you really like more, and if you need the extra heals here. They could of course also add a dedicated healer. Grandpa Kette might play Tyrande, we'll find out. Tyrael is taken here for virtus.pro, and Tyrael is one of these heroes that is oftentimes taken against burst, because you want to make sure that your opponent cannot like just deny your burst comp. But if virtus.pro really wants to make that happen, they need some more burst heroes, and of course the ban on Uther, that was a given. I mean, if you run a Sonya with a Tassadar already, believe me, the one thing that your opponent does not want you to get is an Uther, because that would make Sonya nearly unkillable. The only thing that you could put on top on her, which would be even more like scary, is probably an Abathur. But now it's going to be the double pick for virtus.pro. I expect the Muradin to be taken here, to be absolutely honest with you, and there he is. And besides that, if they don't want to play a Tassadar as the solo support, I think Divine Palm would probably be really nice for them. Then again, on Cursed Hollow, you can also think about that Brightwing once more, because Brightwing is also a hero that helps you with the ETC mosh pit. He can go for a polymorph here. So when we come to supports, I would most likely prefer the Brightwing here and try to soak extra experience on the map. And there is Brightwing. Awesome. I'm loving it. Really nice choices on the side of virtus.pro. Totally loving how they are setting everything up at this point. So that's pretty cool. For Roccat then again, looking at their setup, they will most likely need a bit more damage. This is now the question of how they want to play it. Dedicated healer, then you can play Tyrande with more of a damage build. Or are you going to just play Tyrande full heal and you go into another damage dealer at this point? I think a damage dealer would probably suit them quite well. When we have a Brightwing on the map, we oftentimes see a Falstad being picked as a bit of a counterpart so that you have two heroes that can really like jump on the map. Falstad in general would be good for disengage, and especially Sonya's of course good at chasing. I mean, we have a lot of Sonya players at level 16 going for no escape, which is extremely powerful to just like get that additional chase momentum going, and a Falstad with a Mighty Gust can work against that. So he's one of the options that they have. They played a lot with double frontliners though, and even triple, so maybe they're going into an Leoric again. Leoric is not really the best hero against the Sonya, but he's pretty solid against the Muradin. They could also use an additional stun. When we're talking stun, then we're coming back to Diablo, and there he is. Diablo is actually picked. I'm loving it. I told you he's going to be picked if he's going to be picked later on in the draft, and that's the last picks that they have. Diablo basically guarantees you this initial stun, then Tyrande comes in with the helps. So this is one of the things that's currently going on here. Now we need a bit more damage or a healer for them. Diablo is actually like one of the heroes that can dish out a lot of damage. Like don't underestimate his damage. It's not only the lightning breath, it's the entire kit that he has that does a whole lot of work. But if they want to have another hero, maybe a Reyna. A Reyna or Falstad, both of them add things, and there is the Falstad. Very, very well done. So with the Falstad, they have now the extra pressure, they have the Mighty Gust, they have the mobility on the map. Reyna would have been good for zoning around the tributes with a Hyperion that can do a lot of work, but then again, Reyna doesn't really have the escape, and if you have Muradin, Sonya jumping in, it's a bit tricky. virtus.pro could use a bit more range damage, I'd say. Maybe they are the ones to pick up Reyna now. But there are a few other options that they have. They could even go into like a Vala. Sefkaja really likes to play Vala. Vala Reyna would be kind of nice. But they are oftentimes going into a bit of a different setup. So I'm not quite sure what exactly they're going to play here. It is Reyna. Okay, so they go for Reyna with Hyperion. They are going to try and set him up so that he's going to be able to use the Hyperion in. He's going to like zone them out. And he has also, of course, that damage against Diablo and ETC. And keep in mind that Reyna, with his penetrating round, is another hero that can really make the life of ETC with a mosh pit a living hell. So this is one of the things that is going to be very, very strong for virtus.pro. I like both of these drafts a lot. virtus.pro, I probably like that a bit more because I feel the way that they can play the map is a bit stronger. But Roccat has taken a lot of like, I don't want to call it counter picks, but picks that allow them to just counter out certain aspects of the opponent's build. It's not like there's no real hard counter potential here, but I really like the dynamic of the two teams that we are seeing right now. There's a lot about the momentum. One of the problems that we're having for Roccat is that a lot of the frontliners that they have right now are a little bit weak to burst. They are good together, but they can be a little bit weak when they get bursted. And like when there's a huge focus. And this is one of the things that they will have to deal with. They can keep them alive, they're going to be in a great spot, but the fight could turn against them. If you start to lose the momentum in the fight, then Sonya is trying to clean up house. So if you drop low on your tanks, for example, with this setup, then virtus.pro is just going to rush in and it's going to destroy them. And that's why they have to be very careful about the engagements. They have to be the one to just like stay behind a little bit and really pick their time to engage. If they set the terms of the engagement with like a Diablo dashing in and ETC following him up, then they can do a whole lot of damage. If they are the ones who get jumped at, then they find themselves in a ton of trouble. Especially with that Sonya, she is going to be so brutal. But I like the way that this is currently being handled. The draft was actually kind of fun. So yeah, we're going to go and check that out in a second once that the game actually starts. We have, by the way, now also our Cho'Gall Chibi here, thanks to the Rough Baby. Top supporter of the day, always chooses the Chibi, of course. And we have the Cho'Gall Chibi already, and I have to say that I love that thing. Can't wait for Cho'Gall. He's going to be so much fun. I like the idea that Blizzard has with distributing Cho'Gall, how that works. It's actually like very, very cool. They come up with very good ideas these days. Everybody is in the lobby, so we have Cursed Hollow as our next map. Keep also in mind that this could theoretically be our last game in this best of 3 series, since we already have the lead for virtus.pro, the Russian team playing quite strong here. And let's see how exactly the team around Hazo Ops and Zocke is going to do. They, of course, had a few changes. Chris switched from Roccat to Team Liquid, so he's now part of Team Liquid. So is Gerd Amherd. He left the former Alternate Fancy team, which now plays for Spartanien. And it's actually like, kind of interesting to see that dynamic unfold. We also had Roccat letting one of their players go. Shadowmar is not part of the team anymore, and therefore we see now Red X playing for them. And in case that you missed it, we are also having them currently playing, of course, with Grandpa Kette, a former Team Liquid player. So a lot of shifts around that we had there. And yeah, at this point, we can go in to our game. I'm actually like wondering who's not ready. It looks like everybody is ready to me. Yeah, 10 out of 10. So let's go. This is not IGN, boys. And there we have it. All right. So even a Marshall Reyna skin on the side of Sefkaja. I like it. It's a pretty cool skin. I already have a pretty neat Reyna skin that I like a lot, but Marshall Reyna, it's tempting. My wallet is ready. Yeah. It's a cool skin. You can't argue that. Like, it's a really, really sweet hero skin that Blizzard put out there. Marshall Reyna, together with the Tyrell, they are fighting for justice. Tyrell needs like some kind of Western skin as well. Like, we need a hero with a Billy the Kid skin, for example. That would be cool. But anyways, game is on, so let's jump in. Game on! And we have virtus.pro up against Roccat with a 1-0 lead here. To the left side of the map, you can see Roccat with Zocke on Diablo. We have Red X on Falstad. We see Sport Billy on ETC, Hazobs on Kelthas, and Grandpa Kette on Tyrande. To the right side of the map, we have, of course, virtus.pro, the Russian team with Sefkaja on Reyna. We see it Andy Lendi playing Tacita. Power of Dream is on Muradin. BKB is playing Sonya for the aggression in the team setup. And Unstable is playing Brightwing. As already talked about during the draft, the setup is a very solid one. We have Brightwing trying to give virtus.pro... Well, first of all, one of the things that virtus.pro was trying to do in the draft was counteracting ETC, which was picked kind of early on the side of Roccat. So the idea was to pick a healer that can also help you with just polymorph, disabling the mosh pit. We have Reyna, which is, of course, a great hero with zoning abilities thanks to the Hyperion, but he can also use that penetrating round to give ETC a tough time when ETC is trying to set up that mosh pit. We have, at the same time, with Sonya and Muradin, a very strong setup for them to jump into these fights. Muradin with a Dwarf Toss, Sonya with a Spear. So there's a lot of momentum going for virtus.pro with this, but what we're going to see on the side of Roccat is to try and just like dominate the engagement. They need to stay behind a little bit, wait for a good setup, and then move in with ETC, the power slide, and also, of course, with that stun on Diablo, and try to start the fight on their terms, because then they can attempt to snipe a hero with that Diablo into Tyrande composition, and is this going to be one of the most crucial things for them. What we have already in terms of the talents is that Tyrande decided to go into an Owl build, which makes a whole lot of sense, because you want to make sure that your opponent is having a tough time channeling these tributes. So going into the level 1 talent, the level 4 talent, and the level 16 talent for your Owl is very, very powerful and can make the life of your opponent a living hell. Rotations happening. Here's the stun combo against Sefkaja, and he might die. The body block by Unstable, and Sefkaja gets away. And very well done here. Unstable moving in and healing him in the last second. BKB overstaying his welcome, actually. Zocke is thinking about dashing in once again, but Grandpa Kette already moved back a bit. And in this case, what's really crucial is that we do not see Season Marksman for Reyna. If he wouldn't have taken Give Me More, he would have died here already, and he knows that too. It's one of the big disadvantages of playing with Reyna, that positioning is just everything, since you don't have an escape. And he went for Give Me More instead, just saying, alright guys, I need something to stay alive here. Well, Tacita, on the other hand, he did not stay alive. He got ganked by the squad, and he did have no chance of escape. Whereas we have down to the bot lane now. Well, Sefkaja moving to the mid lane for the experience soak, since of course Tacita just went down. But we still have a Siege Giant camp claimed by Sonya, and Sefkaja on his Marshall Reyna skin helps out. As predicted, the level 4 talent on Tyrande with the Pierce taken. We have Fire Devil, a block on Diablo. Now that's a bit of an adjustment that we're currently seeing for Zocke. Normally when you are looking at Diablo players these days, and most of the combos that are played, you will see the Soul Fields talent taken for the extra hit point regeneration, which is great for the sustain in general, but of course against burst damage or against these fights, that's where block can really help you. There's a lot of players who decided to go into block these days. Nice attack here again, and Andy Lendi, oh, that could actually work. I think he's going to survive here. It was really well done. Sefkaja with a great penetrating round. Reyna able to save Tacita. That looked like a sure kill, but no, they survive for now. In experience, Roccat is slightly ahead again. We are already seeing Power of Dream, but Roccat channeled the Tribute. He was trying to move in to deny that. That didn't happen. On level 4, we now see Unstable Anomaly with the extra damage to the target. So you have a bit of damage on your polymorph as well. It's a kind of interesting talent to take. Oftentimes you will see Peekaboo, especially on this map, since you get extra vision out of it. But if you are afraid for damage, then you can definitely move in with this one. And consider that we have a Tacida in the mix as well. So we are seeing 2 supporters, and therefore they're trying to get the most damage out of the 2 supporters as they can. Especially since most likely Tacida is not going into Kala's Embrace. Sorry, I think he is going into Kala's Embrace, and that means that he will not have static charge unless they are really afraid that they won't be able to get any kills without him getting that extra damage in. But if you run a Sonya, then normally you would like to go into both of the shield talents. Oh, Grand Roccat missing that stun here on his Tyrande, if I'm not mistaken, but they get the kill anyways, and it's a perfectly timed one as well. There's the Kala Embrace, as already expected. Oh, we see a bit of a skirmish here with a kill against Tacida. Great moves by Roccat. And that's exactly what I said earlier. They need to be the ones engaging. They need to be the ones to move in, stun a target out, and try to eliminate it before the fight actually happens. Because if they start to lose hit points before the fight really is ongoing, then the entire setup that we're seeing for virtus.pro is just going to take them apart with that momentum that Sonya and Muradin can build up. So it's really important here for them to be the dominant factor on the map, and they're doing a great job at this. 3 kills against 0, but of course they have still to be careful. They were ahead in the first game already, and then they started to fall behind really quickly. So it's definitely a threat to them, and they have to be careful about it. Bot lane, Falstad has been eliminated. Sonya, Power of Dream, and Sefkaje able to get the kill against the Bird. We're plugging it as Turkey for dinner. And we have now a Ford versus a Ford. Ford at the bot lane is being attacked. Ford at the top lane is going to fall eventually as well. Both of the teams now on level 7. And that gives us another talent on Diablo that is not really the standard. Soul Steal has been taken. Alright, so he gets a bit of an increased health from the Black Soul Stone here. Oftentimes when you see Diablo players these days, they're going into battle momentum instead. But it's pretty cool to see that Soccer is actually working with a different build here. It's one of the best things about Heroes of the Storm compared to other MOBAs, that you are in a position where this talent system is giving you so many options. There's even like these slight and tiny things that you can adjust to depending on your opponent's team composition that make all the difference. There are of course certain builds that are quite strong, but these mini adjustments that we see right now are already just so cool. I mean, we're talking about a Tyrande with an Owl build, just to give you one example. That Unstable Anomaly as a level 4 talent on Brightwing for the extra damage since they run double support, and these things are super cool. Tribute is going to curse the opponent. They're actually timing it even with a camp here, since we have level 10s already for Roccat and none for virtus.pro. So virtus.pro has decided to not even try to go for a fight because they know that they would lose it. There is by now Lightning Grab, Mighty Gust, Mosh Pit, Phoenix, and also the Shadow Stalk. The Owl is revealing the attempt to take the boss at the top. And at the bot lane, we're having Roccat doing exactly the same thing. But up to the top, as you can see, for a second, virtus.pro was not quite sure what was going on there. They saw the Owl coming. They didn't really know what was happening at the bot lane. So they decided to just like back off the boss for a second. And that could actually mean that Roccat is going to be there in time to contest it. But there's enough power for them to take this off. So we have them already going straight for the kill here. Here comes Red X, a little bit too late. Ah, well, good try, but Power of Dream can just jump away, and he should. Yes, there it is. But we still have that curse going strong. That means that not only the bot lane is being attacked, but we always have in the mid lane, well, Anilendi being right there, trying to just like use this position against this one. Yeah, we have already power. Well, we have everybody just like trying to defend this for as long as they can. But down to the bottom lane, as you can see, there's currently the boss going through the first fort. The one at the top lane has been eliminated earlier. Down here in the mid lane, we have at this point still no damage on the fort, but it's not going to take them too long to really burst it down if they want to. As long as the boss is still active, one of them has to take care of it, and it's Sonya in this case. So 5 versus 4, they do exactly what I just said. They start to move in, try to burst that down, and do it really, really well here. So at this point we have Grand Roccat, Soccer, Red X, Hazops, and Sport Billy going straight for the next few structures that they can gain. That's extra experience, free experience that will bring them closer to level 13. Very well done here with an attack in the middle as the rest of the team is still splitting. So this is only 2 heroes that are trying to fight here. Even the Avatar has been used. I'm not quite sure why he's really going in for this. They're trying to chase and they will. Mighty Gus has been used. Unstable jumps in. Nice mobility here. But the problem, of course, is that they already used Avatar. They jumped in a bit too late. That Mighty Gus was also in position for Falstad to just push them back. That's exactly what they currently did. So, level 13s any second now. But a pretty cool game as is. 3 kills against 1, so not really one of these kill-heavy slaughter fests that we usually have. But in this case, it's just a very tactical approach to the entire endeavor. The cool thing is that virtus.pro, even though they suffered a boss, they suffered also the curse, and they lost the heroes in the early game, are still in a position where they will hit level 13 in a reasonable time and manner. But that could be annoying as we see a nice lockdown against BKB, but he's able to get away, and the lightning breath has even been used. Really well played here by BKB and also by Sefkaja with another penetrating round. Sefkaja is actually doing an amazing job with these. Like, he's always making sure that he uses them to just reposition the opponent's attackers so that they can't move in. Level 13 any second now. And we have on level 13 now Firestorm. We are seeing the Giant Killer for Falstad. We have also Groupies after the Proc Rock on level 1. So ETC again with this support build, if you so want. Chain bombs, of course, that's the big deal for Kalthas. I mean, he's a happy panda. And overflowing light. Here's the 13s on the other hand for their opponents. And that means we're having the shield dust, the additional reduction on the ability damage. We have spell shield, even more ability damage reduction. Burning Rage, Prescience, and Giant Killer. So, virtus.pro will attempt to put that to some good use and fight on level 13 talents. We have still that slight lead in levels for their opponents. Level 14 versus 13, and guess what? It's tribute time again. And that means that everybody is just trying to set up a good position here. And we are back to what I said originally. They need to have a good engage here. Soccer and Sportbilly are the ones that they have to rely upon. They're already starting to move in. Where's these stuns? They go in. Here comes the Phoenix. They attempted to go for Reina. He got shielded immediately. And now Sportbilly is the one who's starting to suffer. A nice Mighty Gust to kick Muradin away. But they had to move away again. 3 of their abilities are already in cooldown. And this is looking pretty solid right now for virtus.pro. They are most likely going to get the tribute. Sportbilly and Zocker, they're not going to be there in time. The attempt to burst down Sonya, and they get the early kill. Well done. Grand Paquette might actually die. Polymorph against the mosh pit on ETC. He couldn't make anything up, but Power of Dream is so low. The Hyperion is in play. Maybe a bit too late. That's another double kill. Yep, Muradin and Brightwing are dead. Falstad dies too, but Sefkaja is very much alone and he has no escape. So he is going to fall here as well. Oh, actually, he's not. Or is he? Whoa, the force wall and then the stun, the shield is there. The penetrating round, he stops Diablo in his tracks. But there is the gravity lapse and this is the end of Sefkaja. I didn't really like the timing for his Hyperion. I really feel like he should have committed to it a lot earlier in the fight. That would have helped, I suppose. But I really, really love the way that he is handling his skill shots. I don't think he missed a single one yet, and he has the perfect timings for it. He saved so many of his allies, and in this case he nearly saved himself, but great effort by Roccat getting that kill after all. Roccat, of course, is now looking at level 16 talents, and we have up to the top lane another tribute spawning. The last tribute was captured by virtus.pro, just to make that absolute, like, I need to make sure that you guys realize that, because that fight turned against them, but before it happened, they got the tribute. And talking about the tribute, it looks like, for now at least, it is a fight at the boss down here. Roccat is going to take this one, and that means they can most likely even take 2. But it's also the second tribute that we're seeing for virtus.pro now. The problem for them is they don't have level 16, and they are trying to take a few of the structures down so that they can at least get closer to it. But the level 16 talent is already in play with a double imposing presence. Interesting here. The 2 tanks are just saying, hey, we want to make sure that this Reina is not going to screw us later on in the fight. Andy Lendy, they got him. He was trying to TP back, got interrupted. Now he gets attacked and keeps himself alive for as long as he can, but this is of course not going to last. So 16 versus 15, boss at the bot lane is going to be defended against, but we see Roccat moving straight up to the top for another boss, and that's exactly what they should do here. They should do exactly that, take the second boss now as well, as soon as they can. And let's see. We have already the Arcane Barrier and Ranger taken. Ranger now completing the Owl build with a level 1, level 4 and level 16 talents. Level 16 is going to be important for virtus.pro as well. They need that talent to fight. Before it is in their hands, they can't do anything. Unstable, of course, is really valuable to the team now because he can get them closer to 16 by staying on the other side of the map and soaking some split push experience. So he's pushing this lane back, soaking EXP, and can jump into the fight again if need be. He can even try and steal this one away. It depends on how Roccat plays it now. Are they attempting to snipe something? Looks like they're not. They're sending at least ETC over. Right wing is still at the bot lane. They need 16 and they know it. So they let the tribute go. They defend at the top. The boss is there. That's the second one that Roccat took. And in the mid lane, Roccat themselves are pushing to eliminate their first keep. 16 finally there with a bullseye taken. And the keep is down. One keep down, but still even talents. And Critterize has been taken. It's also pretty interesting to see Critterize here. Greater Polymorph is another talent that we sometimes see taken, which increases the duration of Polymorph. But in this case, it's all about having a bit of additional burst damage, and they're going to try and use that. Critterize, of course, also a pretty cool talent if you have Unstable Anomaly already picked. And especially Reyna should be able to do quite a bit of damage during these fights right now. Talking damage in general, to give you a bit of an idea of what's going on here so far. Reyna with 13,000 damage, the best damage dealer in the game. We did not really have too many fights. You can really tell from the hero damage that has been dished out so far. 17,000 as the maximum on Diablo, by the way, of all heroes, just to give you a bit of an idea of how powerful that lightning breath actually is. So he has done a whole lot in this game. And we're seeing 14,000 for Tyrande. But there were not as many fights as you might assume, because we have, well, that is a tribute that is going to be really important. We didn't have as many fights because the teams are playing a very cautious game here of defense. Once again, the move in. Power of Dream already a little bit low. BKB on Sonya is late to the party. He was trying to move around. Here comes the mosh pit, but Right Wing is already dead. Here comes at the same time now Power of Dream again. He's about to die. He jumps out, but behind him Falstad was eliminated, and BKB is trying to chase them down. The problem is they get the kill, but BKB is dropping 2. It's 2 for 2 kills right now. And we're seeing Sefkajet and Andilendi down here trying to keep Reyna alive. Again, Power of Dream jumps in, is zoned out immediately. They go for Tyrande. They might get her. It's a double kill. Tyrande down, but so is Reyna. Power of Dream moves away, and Sport Billy and Soccer survive this slaughter. What a battle. BKB was so late in the fight because he was trying to walk around the debris, and he jumped into the battle when Right Wing was already dead. So they fought the entire fight with only Tacita as a support, and they still traded evenly with their opponent. Level 19 versus level 18 at this point. The mid lane defended against, but this of course means that we have 2 tributes for each one of these teams, and obviously the next tribute is going to be a cursed tribute. Roccat is down 1 game in the series. virtus.pro has the 1-0. So they are going to try and just like finish this out now with a good team fight. But the problem is they have to hit that team fight either before level 20, and that could happen, or after they take the next talent. Right now it looks like we're going to see that team fight with level 19 versus level 18, so without the level 20 talents, and that's the important part. Oh my god, Zocke! What did you do? Zocke! The mighty gust! No way! Red X for the win. He mighty gust them away, but of course they're gonna get cursed now. Zocke was way too far out. He did not expect them to be this close on the map, and therefore he nearly gets taken apart. But the big story is the tribute and the curse against Roccat. This is a chance for virtus.pro to get the experience that they need to get level 20. They won't hit it before Roccat. I don't see that happening at all, but they might be able to just make sure that the advantage that Roccat has is not going to be too big. Once again, we are seeing the mid lane. There's everybody starting to roam around. Are they going to go for boss? Up at the top lane, Unstable is attempting to go for the fort. They can't go boss. There's just no way. Power of Dream is just double checking if the boss is maybe taken by Roccat, but it isn't. Level 20 any second now. Any second now we're going to see the talent. And we have level 19. There's no way, BKB. This is just not going to happen. Not with Roccat so close to their Storm talents. There they have them now with Nexus Frenzy chosen. Hunter's Swiftness has been taken too. And the Hellstorm, of course. Boss is being attacked. virtus.pro, they are thinking about it. They really want to contest this, but they can't really. Oh, Muradin! No! Power of Dream is down. This is the danger of playing this offensively against the Diablo. He is going to charge in, and he is going to punish you. Here comes Falstad, pushes them away. Hellstorm being used. ETC with the mosh pit. They are putting everybody in place here. 20 versus 20 talents, but 2 heroes are already down. And Unstable and Andilendi, they are on the run. Boom! Down they go. Actually, at this point, it looks like BKB is the next one to fall here. Well, he's going to fall eventually. He can't survive that, can he now? Nope, he's down, and the only one getting away is Tacita. Level 20 talents did not help them to withstand this, and that's a GG already called. Since, of course, with the boss moving down through the bot lane, Sevkosha knows 100% that this game is over. There is just absolutely no way for them to come back in time to defend the core. This is too much pressure. The boss alone is already doing so much damage here now on level 18. This is a great play, and Roccat, they are coming back into this. They start to tie the series, and therefore we will see a third game between the two teams. And that's going to be pretty exciting. Damage, just to give you a bit of an idea, Diablo on 40,000 taking the most damage, 28,000 only on Pelthas. Pretty sick game here on the side of Roccat, really well played, and we are going to see game number 3 at the Heroes Battle Arena.